Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm very sorry for the delay. I had a lot of difficulties today with my internet launching everything. It was very, very troubling, but that's okay. I'm here now. I hope everyone is liking the touch of the music, the Islamic.
I liked it.
The Islamic vibe here that is going on.
Do you go to sleep with that every night?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's very calming.
Yeah. I actually found that when I was making a parody video about converting back to Islam, and I saw this Islamic humming, and I thought, hey, it sounds nice. And then later on, I thought, I should actually make something of this. So I started to remix that and added a beat to it. And
you did a good job. And that preview thing you did as well was really good. The one on about doubt.
Oh yeah, that one. I totally forgot that I put that there. Yeah.
So you made all these yourself?
Yeah, I made that myself too. Yeah.
You don't have a team of like the Apostate Prophet network team of
no.
You don't have 20 employees in your basement that you
unfortunately not
keep locked up and dark and.
Well, let's not talk about that part. But
yeah. Hey, what do you call it? Like the Muslims in the Middle East at least have a way that they sing. That's like I forget. My wife she has a master's in music, and she would know what I mean. There's like a triplet thing they do, like it's really fast.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's called?
I don't know what the name for that, but yeah, it's a very Middle Eastern thing that they.
And it's very unique.
Yeah, it's a constant varying in the thing in the. Whatever you
call it. Like to me, that's the only reason to convert to Islam.
Yeah. What they also do is what you see very commonly in Middle Eastern cultures, in Middle Eastern music, is that they will endlessly keep like they will endlessly lengthen a certain sound and do this thing like and go with that forever. There are certain songs that are extremely long and extremely slow, and it's very strange.
So they're like it's a type of apologetic song. It's just long and slow.
Yeah. It is absolutely. Yeah. You also see that in Islamic Muslim Islamic music, and also in recitations of the Quran, for example, where they do stuff like that too, like this constant changing of the pitch and all that, and really dragging it,
And it's often a cappella, right? Or it's all a cappella, no music background.
Yeah.
Reminds me of my Mennonite heritage.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Do you have such things there? You have a Mennonite background, right?
Mennonite. I was born and raised in an igloo in Canada, and with two Mennonite parents. And but the church I went to was a little more modern. But I've been to churches where the men sit on one side, the women sit on the other. This is a Christian church. Mennonites are Christians, for those of you who might not know. And then a big fat man and wearing black would go to the front and just start singing loud, no music, some churches don't even have electricity, and because that's of the devil. And
it is. There is a difference. I often see people confuse, or there is a confusion as far as I remember it correctly, between Mennonites and certain other Christian communities,
right? Yeah, like Amish.
Yeah.
Mennonites are. Amish are more colonial, community based. Mennonites are more entrepreneurial, personal responsibility type based. Hutterites is another sect that's similar. They're all pacifists. So I was raised that if a stranger comes in your home, you're better off letting them kill you than you kill them, because you're going to heaven. But if you kill a burglar or a robber, odds are that they're going to go to hell. So why are you going to send them to hell when there's still more time for them to repent and see the ways of Jesus?
Interesting idea.
Makes sense.
So, how is it with your? We just jumped right into it, but so what you do is mostly on your own channel, on your own channel called PineCreek, which I, by the way, linked in the description. What you mainly do is to analyze the belief in God, and you respond to Christian apologists. You have discussions with them and all that. How did you get to that? When did that happen?
Let's see. I left Christianity when I think I was around 40. and I became a deist for about 6 months, and then I realized there's no good reasons to be a deist either. Well, I know the deists are mad at me right now. And then so I started calling started calling myself an atheist around 40, 41. And then I started listening. I still had some issues, pent up issues about things I've heard Christian apologists say, Christian pastors say, that I thought, no, they're not giving the whole side of the story. They're not telling the whole truth. And so I felt I needed to correct the world and start a YouTube channel. But I did it mostly for my own way of venting and maybe correcting past wrongs that I personally have done in my life. But yeah, I view my channel as more entertainment for me. And if people want to listen to it, so be it. But it's actually grown quite a bit, considering I've never asked for subscribers. And I got a pretty solid following of people who building some type of community, which I think we all know with atheists is often lacking. And then recently I got into Islam, and having fun with that now.
We will get to that. We will get to that. You know what? I actually found you because, very honestly, my wife was listening to your channel a lot, and I kept hearing you in the background. Well, like when she's doing something, she's listening to your channel, and I keep hearing you in the background. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy that you're listening to beside me? I'm like, just kidding. I heard that, so I got interested in your channel and checked it out. And found it quite interesting. And
she has told me that if both our channels are on at the same time, she'll watch me and not you.
I believe that. I will believe that.
I'm just kidding.
I know. What was I saying? You completely threw me off with that comment. Now I'm boiling inside, but I'm trying not to make it too obvious.
How you first found me? Your wife was listening to me.
What I liked about your channel is that I liked your approach in critiquing ideas and questioning ideas, and it was like you had a very different approach. You didn't have this very hostile attitude. You had more of you had less of the philosophical word soup.
I hate that.
Do you word salad? That's how we say it in English, right? Yeah, word salad. Yeah. The philosophical word salad, but more of a direct, logical analysis, questions and answers approach, and I really liked that very much about your approach to critiquing and questioning religion. And you did the same thing with Islam, right? The first interaction that you had was that you went onto a YouTube channel of Muslims where you started asking them questions, right?
Yeah, and I also answered all their questions, and according to the home office in Wichita, which is the home office that runs my channel, they said it was the best atheist appearance on was it called Hamza?
Hamza, yeah.
Yeah, it was rated the highest according to the Nielsen ratings.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
But they got mad at me afterwards.
How was your impression of Islam and of Muslim apologists, especially after your story with Christian apologetics and Christianity so far? How was it? How was your first impression of Islam and Muslim apologists compared to that?
In general, Muslims are way, way, way behind at least as far as in content creation. And I'll be honest, I'm talking from an American Canadian type perspective. It's like they're not interesting to watch at all. Wow. And at least the Christians are trying to make some entertainment value. Now, although there's one guy that I was really impressed for entertainment, and he's almost like a comedian. What's his name? He's a big, kind of fat but muscular guy.
You mean a Muslim apologist?
And you did a video on him, death to, or someone's, what's his name?
Uthman ibn Farouk ibn Fibn, that guy. Yeah.
In fact, he was in your preview on the show, like the doubt.
Oh, you mean Mohammed Hijab?
Yeah, him. Like I can tell his approach is mostly comedy, right? And so that's kind of effective.
It's not meant to be comedy, but
It isn't?
Yes, but yes, it is comedy. Yeah. I think it's not meant to be comedy. I don't understand it so far either, but
I thought he was a comedian.
yeah, right? That's what you would think.
Yeah.
What makes you think he's a comedian?
Well, just the way he can he's like a MMA wrestler type.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely a character he's playing.
I think he's being serious. I think he's serious. I don't want to speak in his name. I don't want to misrepresent anybody here, but I think he is being quite serious.
Well, that's like saying Dwayne Johnson thinks he's really The Rock and can pile drive. No, he knows. It's an act.
Yeah, no, but yeah, that is actually a good comedian. That is a good one. But you do find him very enjoyable, you said?
Well, he's definitely entertaining to watch, to kind of laugh. I was laughing with him, but now you're saying I should laugh at him. But
yeah. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I'm sorry to be the one breaking it to you. But yeah.
But with Hamza's Den, when I went into there, I found all the gentlemen there quite pleasant, quite knowledgeable. At least half of them. I don't think what's the red-haired guy's name? That's Hamza, right?
Don't they all have red hair? Because yeah, I think that's Hamza.
Yeah. I'm not sure about him, but I think the rest are pretty educated. And what I found interesting is, and some Christians do this as well, is that when they're talking to an atheist, they will kind of avoid specific theism and just talk more about this nebulous philosophical God, the creator God that started the ball rolling, and go to more, well, how do you explain this, Mr. Atheist, sir? Consciousness or first cause. It's like, and so my advice to anybody listening here, if you're talking to a imam, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
If you're talking to an imam or a Muslim apologist, just even grant them that a God exists and say, yeah, but now let's focus in on which God, or if any God of any religions of the world is true, and just focus in on specific theism. The smart Muslims and the smart Christians will always go top down. And the way you talk to them is you go bottom up.
Well, the funny thing is that when you discuss Christianity with Christian apologists, for example, when they want to discuss theism, the existence of God or the existence of an undefined creator, even if it's that, at least they have a point, because you can have many different approaches to how you characterize God, how you explain God, and this and that. I encountered this with several different Christian apologists that I talked to. The funny thing is, with Islam, you can't really do that. With Islam, there are no different interpretations of the afterlife. There are no different interpretations of heaven and hell. There are no different interpretations of the nature of God and this and that. It is all very simple. So you can't really, with Islam, it's quite nonsensical and kind of hopeless to be stuck with theism, to discuss whether God exists or not. It's like,
but wait, I've interviewed a few Muslims who call themselves Ahmadiyya.
Yeah.
And to me, talking to them compared to a Sunni is very different.
Yeah, in different ways. Yes, it is. They will have a quite different approach when it comes to the politics and the morality within Islam. They will try to, or they will at least appear to have a more pleasant approach and a more pleasant representation of Islam. They believe in quite absurd things. So they believe that a certain person called Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who lived only 2 centuries ago, was actually the final messenger, the Messiah, and the Mahdi, and all of these things together. And he died, and he went away, and it is a very strange movement within Islam. But Muslims generally do not accept them as Muslims. They usually consider them as non-Muslims, as disbelievers and heretics.
But even among the Sunni and Shia, don't they even differ on things like, did Muhammad really fly up into the heavens on a winged horse? Like, don't they even, some say yes and some say no? Yeah,
there is even within Sunni Islam, there are certain groups, certain numbers among Sunni Muslims who do not necessarily believe that Muhammad literally flew to heaven on the back of a flying mule. Some believe that this was just metaphorical, for example.
Yeah, those Muslims are flag waving phonies. They just don't have enough faith to believe that God, their Allah is powerful enough to do that miracle.
They're weaklings, I would say. Yes. But
the thing is, there's some Muslims listening right now who agree with exactly what I just said.
Yes, exactly.
Those who do believe it happened. Yeah.
Exactly. The funny thing is, when I talk about Islam, many Muslims also do agree technically with most of the stuff that I am saying. They just disagree with the fact that I am saying it and with my implications of that follow from what I'm saying.
Yeah, so, I noticed that when you came on my channel, because it seemed like they had to really nitpick to disagree with you. Like whenever someone said, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You shouldn't have this guy on your channel to teach you about Islam because you don't know what you're saying." Well, okay, be specific. What did he say in an hour or so length that you thought was clearly wrong?
And he's a liar. Don't trust him.
Yeah, and it's like there was maybe 2 or 3 things that some Muslims brought up, but it was, again, I bet you we could find Muslims who would agree with you on those points, and there were like matters of interpretation on some things, and but I agree they don't like you because you're effective.
Yeah. I think they don't like me because I am a liar, and what can I do about that? It's not like I can start telling the truth or anything. But when you compare Muslim apologists to Christian apologists, first I want to say that I found your comments about how Muslim apologists are way behind very offensive and very degrading, and I hereby want to dissociate myself entirely from your remarks.
I'm just giving my opinion.
No, just kidding. I genuinely think, and I don't think this is a bias that I have, I think when I look at Christian apologists, I see a lot of sophisticated debating and arguing of certain ideas, although I don't agree with them, and although I think that many arguments therein within Christian apologetics are also quite weak and weird. But when I look at Muslim apologetics, I feel like it is so far behind, so far below Christian apologetics. Maybe it's because Christian apologetics is much more experienced, whereas Islamic apologetics, because Muslim society has been so closed, has not been open to discussing ideas publicly, and they are very much behind, and now they are slowly getting into it, which is why they are so bad at apologetics. I don't know, maybe that's the reason. But their arguments are usually extremely laughable to me in comparison. And I'm glad that I'm not the only person who's noticing this. I'm glad that I can also have you here with me testify to that, so that I can free myself from all the hate that is currently coming our way. That's good.
What's interesting is the Muslim guests I've had on, I'll ask them very simple questions, and it's fun in a way to see them struggle because like very simple questions like, do you really believe a man got the revelation of a creator God deity through an angel in a cave over 23 years? Do you believe it? And then they'll say yes. And then why? Why do you believe that? And then they'll give their answer. Well, the Quran has been written in its perfect way or whatever. And then I'll use my flying man thought experiment. I don't know if you ever heard that.
I think I've heard of it, but go ahead and explain it, please.
And so people who are listening right now, you can use this and just say, well, okay, if we're walking in the forest and we stumbled upon an old text and we dig it out of the ground and we read a page that says, here are the very words of God written to a prophet named Myron and given through an angel, Jessica. Would you believe that this is actually the very words of God? If that's all you knew at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Muslim has to say, no, of course I don't believe this is, I would need to read more. And then at what point would you say, yes, at this point, I now believe these are the very words of God given through an angel to a person. This is the tipping point, because we can add in things like prophecies and we know exactly who wrote it. And I still think Muslims would not believe it, that this certain, I often say it's my ancestor many generations back who could just fly across the Grand Canyon. And so the whole book is about him. He's a prophet of God, but he could fly unaided. And I don't think Muslims would believe that my ancestor could fly across the Grand Canyon unaided based on the same evidence they have for Islam.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, there is a lot of difference between how the Christian scripture came into existence and how the Islamic scripture came into existence. What the Christian scripture relies on in terms of evidence and supporting arguments, and what the Islamic scripture relies on. You don't indeed have any proper like Christians, for example, rely very much on the resurrection, right? I mean, you have the experience yourself that they mainly use the resurrection as the main argument that is supposed to support the truthfulness of the Christian faith. Whereas in Islam, you don't really have that. What Islam does is, or what Muslims do is, Muslims argue that the Quran itself, the text, the book itself, is so miraculous that it can only be from Allah, that it can only be His direct word. It must definitely come from Him. There is no other way you can explain the Quran.
Help me understand this, because I read, I don't know, the first several chapters of the Quran just like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like a grade 6 summary of the Old Testament mostly.
Yeah.
How in the world do I have to? What am I missing? What's so miraculous about how it's written?
It is very funny. I actually, like about a year or two ago, I met up with one of my relatives. And for the first time, we talked about why I left Islam, because they asked me why I left Islam. And I said, can we just do one little thing? I will just, I knew that person has never read the Quran. They're just Muslim because parents are Muslims, because family is Muslim. I just said, here, let's start reading the Quran together. Just sit there and just start reading from the very beginning. What do you think about it? And I know that this person is very educated and studies, goes to medical school, has gone through all kinds of different studies, and I don't know so much about the world, know so much about science. And I just watched the expression on the face, and like, she's so confused, like. And just after 2 minutes, I asked, so what do you think about it? And she said, this is very strange. I don't know. It's like, it makes very weird claims that are scientifically seen, I don't want to speak the words, but laughable. And so if you really give this book to a person who doesn't know, and you let them read from the beginning, you see the very strange language. You see how the book is structured. It's not well organized. The language doesn't appeal to the modern person, to the modern intelligent person. The information that it provides you with is not very remarkable. It seems like it is very offensive, tries to bully you into liking it and all that. There is nothing really miraculous about it. The issue is when Muslims learn about the Quran from a very young age, they learn all the time that this is definitely the book of Allah, the Almighty Allah, who is the best, who is the greatest of all, who is perfect. He sent this book to you, and there is no questioning this. There are several different commands given by Muhammad and by the Quran itself, which instruct you clearly not to question, not to doubt, not to think. Even at the beginning, at the beginning of the Quran, it says this is the book about which there is no doubt. And those who doubt are hypocrites. They are sick. They are deaf, dumb, and blind. So you are primed to think that it is miraculous, no matter what it says.
Yeah. See, hearing that, my plea to Muslims listening right now who are here, what does this remind you of when someone says, don't question what I have to say, and if you doubt it, I mean, bad things are going to happen to you? This is exactly what cults do to keep people in the cult. And then there's promises, if you stay, you've run the good race, to put a Christian spin on it, you will get these great rewards. This whole idea of carrots and sticks, and you cannot question. Like, Muslims listening, please do the opposite of what you've been taught. Question it, even if that means your parents hate you afterwards. Although some countries, I'm giving advice that might get you killed, right? So you gotta be careful here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you value this thing we call truth, you do have to question. Now, I can say all that and still say Islam could be true, but still, the fact that you're not allowed to question and doubt it, that speaks volumes of how infantile your religion is.
The issue is some Muslims may bring up or may bring this objection and say we are allowed to question, we are even encouraged to question, but this is a misinterpretation of misrepresentation of their own text and of their religion. It never tells you that you are supposed to question this religion. What the Quran tells you repeatedly is this is the truth. Do you not reason? This is the truth. Do you not use your mind? This is the truth. Why do you not think? That's not questioning. That's not thinking. If I become a dictator, a ruler over you, or if I write a book and say this is the absolute truth, why don't you use your mind? Why can't you see that this is the truth? That is not an encouragement to think. That is not an encouragement to reason. That is simply me asserting my supposed truthfulness upon you and bullying you into believing that it is true, and insulting your intelligence for not agreeing with me, for not believing that what I'm saying is true, even if it's wrong. That is not an encouragement. We even have a report from Muhammad where he supposedly says, it's very funny. This is actually something that many people question even in today's time. He says, the devil may come to you and ask you who created this, and who created that, until he asks you who created Allah. That's what the report says. That's what Muhammad said according to the report. And then he says, when he comes to you with such idle questions, repent to Allah. Repent and abstain from such empty thinking. That's what he says. So this is the command that he gives you. He doesn't answer the doubt. He doesn't answer the question. He doesn't provide any philosophical arguments for it. What he tells you is, be quiet, shut up, don't think about it, just repent and pray to Allah. So it's very ironic, actually, that Muslim apologists today try to answer these questions and try to provide philosophical arguments to the question, why who created God, when Muhammad himself simply said, hey, don't think about this, repent and seek refuge in Allah. Yeah. So that is what Islam encourages. It doesn't encourage you to think at all. The whole book requires you complete submission. It even says in a certain verse that the true believers are those who, when they hear the commands of Allah and when they hear the words of Allah, they say, I have heard and I have obeyed. And they don't question any further. I have heard and what does that sound like?
Yeah. Can we get a little personal here for a second? Like, I don't know your backstory, but when you left Islam, are your parents still Muslim?
Yeah.
How did that affect them?
Well, I know how sensitive my parents are about this whole stuff, so I didn't actually tell them for a while. I kept it to myself just because I didn't want the drama. I didn't want to hurt my mother's feelings, but I was preparing for that. They found out 2 years ago or so, and they were very hurt by it. I still have not had a conversation with my father ever since he found out that I left Islam. It has severely damaged our relationship.
Can you articulate for me exactly why they were hurt?
Well, to them, it is worse than me dying. If I die, at least I will, probably go to heaven as a Muslim. But now that I have left Islam, I have not only ruined my own afterlife, the afterlife of their own child, I have also gone against Islam's orders and betrayed myself, betrayed my family, betrayed them foremost, brought shame upon them. Now, every time people ask them about me, they will feel shame and will try to explain, I don't know how to explain this. I have betrayed my nation. I have betrayed the entire Muslim community. This is the sentiment. And this is why they are so hurt. And on top of that, of course, I am openly here criticizing Islam. And knowing that brings even more shame. It brings tenfold shame upon that. So it is really extremely hurtful to them.
Do you think it's more the shame that you bring in upon them, or the fact that they truly care that you're going to hell?
I think both. They most definitely both. They truly care. They would want the best of me, the best for me. They care about that. It's also definitely the shame. Shame is very big in Muslim culture. It was also very big in our family, in our culture. Yeah, it's both.
So when's the last time you've seen them?
When was that? 2 years ago, I think.
Did you tell them face to face that you're no longer a Muslim?
It was very funny. I actually went to visit them. I planned to fly to Turkey. I'm currently in America, and and to tell them face to face about everything that happened. And what happened is that before I flew there, the day before that, they found out about the fact that I left Islam and that I criticized Islam because somebody else told them, apparently. So when I got there, they were already in a very strange mood. And eventually I sat down and started talking to them. And yeah, I don't know, it was weird.
Do you think they ever watched your channel?
I doubt it. My mother might look at it, might check it out, I think, but she doesn't understand anything. She might understand the Turkish videos that I have made. I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest.
Someone asked me that question, and so I asked my parents, and my mom said, I asked my mom, and my mom said that my dad has watched a few of my videos, but he said he had to stop because he cried after every single one of them.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from, and the hurt that can be caused from leaving the religion, but it kind of boggles my mind. Like if your dad was, I don't know what sport you're in, but if you and your dad shared the same team, and you said, no, I'm not going to cheer for that team anymore, I'm going to cheer for that team, he wouldn't have that sense of shame and huge, maybe a little bit, but
yeah.
What is it about these religious beliefs that make people freak out that the world's coming to an end, or it's just...
Well, you know what I think about when I think about that is this whole idea that that the end is coming soon. Muslims dominantly have this sentiment. My family had that too. They have the idea that life is temporary. They have learned from the beginning of their lives that all of this is temporary, that bad things are going to happen soon, that probably the end is coming soon. Look, the world is going to crap, so it will probably all end soon. Funnily enough, this is what people have thought for thousands of years. And they think everything is going to end soon. We have to stick together. We have to make sure that we all believe so that we can go to the good place when we die. And that is your entire purpose. That is how you learn to live. You learn to live for that specific thing. Your entire life is built on that. So when your loved one, your son, your child suddenly stops believing in that, then it destroys everything that you know about life.
But if we were to ask your parents, what determines your final destiny, heaven or hell, well, how would they answer that?
Well, their belief is very clear that as long as you live, you testify that Islam is true and that you believe in it, you will most likely go to heaven. And if you clearly and openly reject it, then you will definitely go to hell. Okay. What they would think is that there might be also what they will say is that they are in no position to judge whether someone will go to heaven or hell, because it could be that in their final moment, they, before they took their last breath, they maybe said, "Oh, I am a Muslim, I believe," so anything could happen. Maybe that's what I will do. Maybe I will be dying now. I believe in Islam.
That's probably how they console themselves. Is they think
maybe
that you're going to make a deathbed reconversion or something.
That's what I think. I think that sometimes they probably, as far as I know them, they probably tell themselves that I will eventually turn back, but they should be losing hope, and and that probably doesn't feel good.
Yeah. My mom, she doesn't worry too much because she believes exactly that. Then before I die, I'll come back to Christianity.
Yeah, you probably will. Yeah. Before you take your last, how is it with your beliefs right now? Is it like, are you convinced atheist? Do you leave the question open? Are you more agnostic?
I'm a numbers guy, so I'm like 99% convinced that all religions of the world are false. And I'm maybe a little bit lower, 97% convinced that there's no God out there or gods at all. But I'm open to that plausibility, or that possibility, I should say. And what would make it more a plausibility, what would change my mind, is a clear demonstration of a miracle. 2,000-year-old text, 1,600-year-old text, not going to cut it.
But people are healed in hospitals after they have the flu, and people pray for them, and then they don't have the flu anymore the next day. What are you going to say about that?
And my aunt prayed the other day that she'd get a good refinancing deal on her home loan, and it happened. So therefore, Allah, right?
Yeah.
No, I would need, my standards are high. So none of this my back pain is gone business. Show me someone who's had their arms blown off in the Iraq war. Pray in the name of Allah that they get their limbs back.
What? That is the argument that I made. I'm actually preparing something here that I want to make a video on that. I even hired somebody to make me a painting of something, because my argument will be, and I will be very insistent on this, because people keep asking me what would make me believe, and I will not believe if I see that blind people suddenly can't see, because that's quite a normal thing that can happen. Mm-hmm. What would convince me is if a person who is proven to miss a leg, if that person is prayed for, if that person prays, and then we see that a leg descends from the sky and attaches itself to this man so that he gets his leg back. If I see that happen, if we can see that happen in front of the world, then I will believe that there's probably something going on here.
That you're just like me, except maybe our standards are a little too high, and I'm going to make it simpler for Muslims watching right now. Got a little bit of water in here. I'm going to drink some. I'm not trying to trick myself or any of your viewers. Here's a Kleenex. Soak it in there. If someone can pray in the name of Allah right now to light this on fire in front of our eyes, I will believe in the supernatural, and I'll consider Islam as the source, the one true religion.
Wow. Okay, the challenge is out.
It's dripping with water. Just light this on fire. I'm okay if my hand burns, in fact, because then Allah can fix it.
Can I pray too?
You want to pray on behalf of Muslims?
Yeah, I can. I will pray on behalf of the unknown being.
Okay.
The unknown, okay, dear being who wants to give us a sign, dear being who wants us to believe in him if we see a sign. Please give us a sign right now, and please light Doug's thing here that he has in his hand on fire. Please do it right now for all of us to see. We will believe that there is something going on here.
Let's just give it like 5 seconds.
Yeah, 1, 2.
Because sometimes there's transmission problems to the firmament.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. Okay. Yeah.
But the point is, like, so many Christians and Muslims alike, they cherish their holy text so much. And I don't think they appreciate just how people like you and I read these texts and say, so what? Like, show me something today that can be demonstrated, that can be observed. And if this God really wants to be known and understood and the truth be known, do it. You don't have to do a miracle every second of every day, but once a year is good.
Yeah.
So every generation has ample chance to see a demonstration of the supernatural. And I think even guys like Matt Dillahunty would convert to theism if he ran this little experiment and it worked.
I think you should put this part where we prayed. You should make a short clip of that to show that we have attempted to demonstrate the truth of the supernatural, but it didn't work.
Hey, I watched your video that you made recently about 10 facts about Muhammad. And I thought it was great. But what you need to do, or what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take that, and whenever a Muslim comes on, I'm just going to ask true or false questions. And I'll just say, I'm not going to push back. I'm not going to argue with you. I just want to know, do you lean true, lean false, lean yes, lean no? Did Muhammad marry a 6-year-old? Yes or no? Did Muhammad own slaves? Yes or no? And just go through that list and just get the Muslim to hear themselves. Hopefully they watch it back. Hear themselves believing in the most insane things.
I actually started making a list. I started making 2 separate lists of questions that I want to ask a Muslim, because I recorded a short video that I want to, in which I asked 10 questions to a certain Muslim personality who's trying to convince people online that Islam is quite nice and cute and all that. But I'm in the process of preparing a 100 question list to Muslim apologists that is not meant to be a debate. It is not meant to be consist of follow-up questions and of me refuting their arguments. It's just me asking them certain questions and starting very easy, like, are you a Muslim? Do you believe in the Quran? Are you allowed to reject anything the Quran says? And so on. And then slowly asking these questions, like, do you believe that the sun goes to prostrate itself under Allah's throne at night, for example?
Do you believe Allah flooded the earth with water?
Yeah. Doug, I want to ask you a question. Now that you are here, I think this is a very important question to. I always ask Muslims, and it's quite unfair. So I want to ask you too. Where does the sun go at night?
I think behind an umbrella. A big umbrella.
Yeah. But do you believe that the sun goes somewhere at night?
No.
Do you believe that the sun goes to prostrate itself under the throne of Allah at night?
No, but I could be wrong.
You could be wrong. Do you believe that the sun sets in a muddy pool at night?
No.
And do you believe that the sun asks Allah for permission to rise again, and then it gets permission and rises again in the morning?
No.
And do you believe that one morning the sun will not be given permission to rise from Allah, so it will go the opposite way and will rise from the west again?
No. What percentage of Muslims in the world would say yes to all those?
If we removed one question, which is the sun setting in a muddy spring, because many people will try to do a reinterpretation of that because that is in the Quran and they want to reinterpret that as metaphorical. The rest of it, many Muslims in the world will probably answer yes, many informed Muslims. I cannot give a percentage. The issue is that the vast majority of Muslims are ignorant about Islamic scripture, Islamic texts, ignorant about things that Muhammad said. So many people would actually not know that Muhammad said these things. These are the words of Muhammad. But those who know, among those, the vast majority would say yes. I would think
like
over
even
80% would say yes.
Even like medical doctors who are Muslim, who are aware of this, they would say yes too?
They would probably, if they certainly believe in this and if they know about this, they would probably say yes. They would just try to reason with how this is a matter of the unseen, although that makes no sense because we are clearly speaking of where the sun goes at night. But here's the thing. The interesting part is the very final question there, which is, do you believe the sun will rise in the west one morning? The vast majority of Muslims everywhere, over 90%, believe that to be true. They believe that this will happen. They believe that this will probably happen very soon, that the sun will one morning rise in the west, which is very strange because if you ask them, how is the sun going to rise in the west? And why would the sun rise? The sun is not going anywhere. It's not moving. It's right there. We are going around.
Are a lot of Muslims flat earthers?
They're not. It's just very hard to reconcile the idea of a spherical earth with these verses, and they rather do not think about it, or they reinterpret it as a matter of the unseen.
Do you think if we had a time machine... Sorry, there's a Muslim trying to get in my house and my working German Shepherd is going crazy.
I can't hear you. You muted.
Yeah, I was muting the dog. But
okay.
What was I saying?
If you had a time machine.
Oh, if we had a time machine and we found Muhammad in, what was the 5th century?
7th century.
7th century.
He was born in the 6th, but preached mostly in the 7th century. Yeah.
If we found him and asked him what shape is the earth, do you think it's a guaranteed he'd say sphere?
I don't think he would have any idea about the answer to this question, but he would definitely not say sphere. He would think that the earth is this ground which is surrounded with water, probably endless water, and that above us are a number of skies above which there is Allah. And he would also, if you asked him the question what these things that we call shooting stars are, meteors, he would say that what that is, dear followers and dear friends, what that is sometimes the devils, the jinns, they try to fly and rise up to the sky. They try to rise through the skies to the high assembly of Allah that Allah is holding with his angels, where Allah shares important knowledge about the future with the angels. And those devils try to ascend to that assembly and try to listen secretly and steal knowledge from that assembly. And then they are noticed, however. The sneaky devils, they are noticed. And when they are noticed, the angels quickly throw fireballs at them. They throw missiles at them. And then the jinns quickly run away and try to give the information to the other one and to the other one, to the other one, until they come down from the skies. And when you see a shooting star up there, that is actually that flame that the angels are throwing at those jinns.
So it sounds like Muslims, like Christians, believe in this spiritual warfare idea, that there's real demons and devils out there. And do the Muslims believe in angels? Well, of course they believe in angels, at least the angel Gabriel.
Yeah.
Like, do they view you as like one of Satan's minions or being influenced by the devil, and that maybe it's not your fault and maybe it's because you've just been possessed by Satan?
They have different interpretations. Many of them simply think that I am a disgusting, evil liar who knows that Islam is true, but who is.
But weren't you created in the image of Allah?
They don't really have quite the same interpretation of that. No,
they don't think.
No,
but Allah created you.
Allah created me, but Muslims openly and clearly believe, as the Quran says, they clearly believe that Allah created all humans. He created humans just so they worship him. But many of us, if not most, are bound to go to hell because Allah created us for hell. He created us for hellfire. And it is very strange. This is actually something that if you sit down with Muslims and ask them about this, they don't really know how to get out of this. The Quran says Allah created you just so you worship him. It also says that he created many human beings just for hell. And it also says that Allah guides and misguides whom he wills. And those whom Allah does not want to guide, but whom he misguides, those people are simply stupid, blind, deaf, and dumb, and they are sick in their hearts. So there is really some giant mess going on. Yeah.
I think Muslims got that writing. And I don't believe for one second a guy named Muhammad actually said or wrote these things, but whoever wrote those verses, it's in the Quran.
That is in the Quran, yeah.
Yeah, that's all in the Quran. I think they got that direct from Paul. I think because Paul talks about that.
Muhammad, I'm pretty sure Muhammad was very uneducated about the Christian beliefs and the Jewish beliefs. He was, however, influenced and took a lot of information from Christians and Jews. What likely happened is that he learned from people around him, from certain people around him who knew about Jewish Christian beliefs. And he was also a merchant before he was a prophet. And he traveled a lot to Syria on a trade route where he met Jews and Christians, and he probably really admired their religion and took from them as much as he could, and really butchered their religion and adopted things into Islam that are taken from Christianity and from Islam, but they don't really make sense. Like the whole concept of Jesus, for example, like the whole point of Jesus not having a father, coming with a virgin birth, is that Jesus is the Son of God. Muslims take Jesus as a prophet. They deny that he's the Son of God. They deny that he is divine, but they do believe in the virgin birth. And now you ask the Muslim, so who's Jesus' father? And they say, nobody. Jesus was born without a father. Okay, but why? Then they're like, well, just because it's a miracle, because Allah just made it like that because
it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's special. Yeah, but why? What's the point? Well, why wasn't Muhammad born without a father? Why was Jesus born without? Well, who are you to question this? He was just born without a father. It doesn't make sense, Islam adopts certain things from these beliefs without them actually making any sense within the context of Islam. It's very strange.
Getting back to Hamza's den, a thought just popped in my head. You know what question I asked them that bothered them the most, in my opinion?
What?
It was my poof or drown thought experiment. Have you ever heard that one?
What is that? No.
Okay, so if you're an atheist and you're talking to a Muslim, ask them this question. And I would bet money they're not going to answer it. But if they do, it's kind of fun. So the question is, and Muslims believe in the global flood story, or at least some type of flood story. Yeah. And so I use that out of the Old Testament, and that's okay. So it's that time in history, you're up in wherever with Allah, and Allah says, you see humanity down there? Oh, what a mess. You know what? I'm going to exercise my justice on those people. Except for Noah's family. We'll spare them. But anyhow, I'm giving you two options of how to exercise my justice, and both options are moral and good because I, Allah, am giving those options. So they're moral by definition. So option number one, I'm going to send flooding waters and we're going to drown all those evil men and women and pregnant women and toddlers and babies and animals and plants. Just drown, kill them all dead. That's option one. Option two is I'm just going to go poof and they're all gone. So here's the thought experiment question to Muslims listening. And Allah's asking for your opinion, your advice. He doesn't need your opinion, doesn't need your advice, but Allah's a gracious God. I mean, he sometimes likes to talk to people. And so he asks, what would you prefer? I drown humanity or poof them out of existence? And every person on Hamza's Den refused to answer that question. They refused to admit that there could be anything in their moral intuitions that has friction against their Allah. And the only explanation I can come up with is that it's not even a healthy fear or respect. It is a terrifying fear of going against their God. To even for a second entertain the idea that their way of dealing with something might be different than their God's.
Well, it is. Muslims are extremely sensitive when it comes to questioning or possibly speculating and disagreeing with Allah and Muhammad, not just Allah. In fact, many of them could even be more sensitive when it comes to Muhammad than when it comes to Allah. They have a very big honor culture surrounded, which surrounds their belief in or their loyalty to Muhammad. But yeah, it is very hard for them to actually speculate in the name of or instead of Allah, to put themselves into his position. Like when I discuss with Christians, when I have debated with Christians, I have seen that they were quite okay with me just speculating about what God would do or what you would do if you were God, and they just talk about this, they discuss with me about this. But with Muslims, it's very they get very uncomfortable if you do this, because Islam is indeed very sensitive in regards to that. I don't know exactly why that is established. I will probably think about this later and realize why that is. But it is very hard for them to even speculate about Allah's motives or what Allah could have done instead. What they will think and say is that Allah had his reasons. He had a purpose. He knows what he's doing. You are nobody to question this. You will not understand this. You will only waste everybody's time.
And I grant all that. Like when I do this thought experiment, I grant them all that. But and I'll even tell them my motives. I said, my goal here is to pit you against Allah. Okay. I'm setting a trap, and I'm asking you to walk in it, because if you have the truth, it shouldn't matter if it's a trap or not. Just walk right into my trap and answer the question honestly as you can. And they still won't do it. It's just like, no, he can hear me. If I say I rather poof these babies, Allah will hear me. He can even see my thoughts, so I can't even think about it, because I don't know what do they believe that God, Allah will smite them or something.
Yeah, you know what? With me, if I give an example for myself, I was very religious. I was very faithful. for me, leaving Islam, the process of just leaving Islam, took a lot of time. It took many years. It wasn't a matter of just, with an hour or a day or months or anything like that. It took very long. And most of that was just stealth, because I was so afraid of just thinking about questions. It wasn't the conclusions. It wasn't any of that. It was just beginning to question.
Yeah.
Beginning to think about the certain questions was so terrifying to me that I remember, like, I read the Quran, and I read something about Allah holding up the sky so it doesn't fall down on us, and it was really, I don't know if I cannot describe it, but it was so painful for me to get those intrusive thoughts of reading that in the Quran and trying not to think about that, because I am trying to convince myself that I'm just a stupid little human being. I am not in any position to even begin to question this. I am not supposed to think about this. I have to think about something else. I should say Allah, or I should say, forgive me, Allah, instead of thinking about that. It took a long time to actually convince myself that there is nothing wrong with simply using my mind and thinking about this.
But was it hell that was the impetus, the cause of this hesitation to question?
Hell definitely plays a big role in it, because the Quran is, to the majority of its content, full with stuff about violence and threats. And in much of the Quran, in every chapter, abundantly, you will see threats of hell, of how those who question, or how those who disbelieve, those who reject, will be tortured forever and all that. But it's more than just hell. It's just you are indoctrinated with the idea that this is where you belong. This is who you are. This is your identity. It's not just you believe. It is your identity. It is who you are. You are not to trust anything beyond this. The questions that you are getting, the disbelievers who are asking you questions, they are trying to trick you and deceive you. They are the enemies of Allah. You are not to trust anybody. You are supposed to strictly hold on to this, and all of that simply makes you feel very anxious about even speculating about certain things.
See, what I did to myself, and what I would have done with a person like yourself if we were talking before you left Islam, is I would ask you, do you value truth more than fear?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, and to any Muslims listening right now, I want you to desire for just, I don't know, take an hour this week and be totally okay with going to hell for eternity. Try to force yourself saying, you know what? I value truth so much that I'm willing to go to hell for it. I want to know what's real and true. And then try to get that fear of hell, just treat it like, spit on it. Just treat it like dust. Like, who cares about hell? Now, I care about truth. Who cares about hell? Now let's look at the evidence. And once you can take all that fear, and you can do the same for heaven if you lean that way as a Muslim, that you don't worry so much about hell, but you just want to, I don't know, go to paradise and get those virgins or whatever. Mm-hmm. Put that aside. Say, forget about those virgins. Forget about paradise. I'm more concerned about the truth. And then I think if you can do that, like for maybe an hour a week, and then start studying objections to Islam, it'll be more quickly, it'll crumble, because you've taken the two big motivators away, fear and love.
You know what the issue is? Muslims and Muslim preachers and authorities in general will be quite honest in admitting that they definitely do not want you to do this, because you might end up losing your faith. You might end up disbelieving. You might end up rejecting your beliefs. They will indeed. I would think most Muslims maybe will admit that if you do this, you may lose your faith, which is why you should not do this. Because if you think, and this is how they explain it, if you think and if you question and if you allow yourself to have doubts, then it is not reason which leads you out of Islam. It is your ego and Satan, who are trying to trick you and trying to pull you away from the truth of Islam, which is why you should not indulge in such thoughts.
Well, if a leader in Islam were to say that to me, I would use the outsider test for faith, and I say, Christians often think the same thing. And wouldn't it be so sad that they couldn't find the truth of Islam because they constantly think, oh, these Muslim apologists, they're actually Satan trying to tempt me away from the truth of Christianity. I can't listen to them. I can't listen to them. Yeah. And the outsider test for faith is a wonderful tool to just show how these defense mechanisms have been set up so you can't get out, or you can't even question, or you can't even possibly imagine. In fact, here's another challenge for Christians. Go in front of the mirror every morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say, Islam could be false. And then conduct your day. Every morning, wake up, look in the mirror and say, Islam could be false. I can do that too as an atheist. Atheism could be false. There could be a God. I can do that, no problem. But I bet there are a lot of Muslims would have a problem just doing that, looking in the mirror and saying that every morning.
Yeah, you meant Muslims, right? You just said Christians. That's why.
Oh yeah, Muslims, Christians too.
Yeah. It wouldn't be hard for Christians to say.
To me, Islam is a knockoff of Christianity, and Christianity is a knockoff of Judaism. Yeah, and Judaism is a knockoff of Sumerians and other ancient years. Yeah. Sorry, Muslims, but
what I did to myself. Sounds like I did something bad to myself. But what I did when I was questioning, and when I was at the end of it, was to simply think, because I'm so afraid of questioning, I'm so afraid of going through with my questions, I thought, hey, I believe that I was created by Allah, who is the most merciful, the best, the most knowing, the Almighty, and all that. And He created me with the capability, with the ability to think and to question. He gave me a brain. He gave me a mind. He gave me the ability to reason, to ask questions, to get answers, to come to right conclusions and to wrong conclusions. I am sure that if I have good intentions and if I really want to find the truth, and I know for sure that I want to find the truth, I'm sure that if I come to a wrong conclusion, Allah will not blame me in the end for that, because He knows exactly why I asked my questions. He knows exactly what my motivation was. He knows exactly where I'm coming from. He gave me this mind. He gave me the ability to do all of this. So I motivated myself to simply think about this and to go through with all of my questioning and see what happened. I left Islam, and I'm pretty sure, to be very honest, I am 100% sure that Islam is false. So there is no such possibility to me anymore. But even if Islam was true, and even if Allah was real, I'm pretty sure He would never judge me for doing that. Just going.
Well, yeah. So if Islam is true, guys like me and you actually could still go to heaven. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I think now. If I was a Muslim, I would probably not say that, because that would be in contradiction with the core beliefs of Islam. But yeah.
Can I ask a favor of you? If you were to give me the evidence for Islam in chronological order, in bullet point form, like just few words, like miracle of the Quran or something like that, could you do it like maybe 10 of them? And I got my pen here. I'll write them down. Because I'm asking because for my flying man thought experiment, I need to know a little bit more.
I could give you a few. I would probably have to sit down and think about this.
What would a Muslim say is the earliest piece of evidence? Earliest, like in history.
Of Islam, of specifically of Islam, not of Abrahamic history. Or they would probably, I think they would probably give an example of a priest who supposedly told Muhammad that he is a prophet when he was still a little child or something like that, or when he was younger. That there was a cloud floating on Muhammad. There was a cloud following Muhammad, and a priest saw him and said, "You are a prophet," or this guy is a prophet. I think that is one of the earliest prophets.
Okay, what would be next?
Help me out, guys. If you know, what will be next?
Like, well, next, what is the story about the cave, and when does that come?
The story of the cave is the beginning of his prophethood. They would that's when he's 40 years old. That's what they would certainly give as evidence. The issue is you can't really take that as evidence for anything. It's just he himself experiencing that. They would give as evidence very strange things, such as that Muhammad was known as a trustworthy man by people before he started preaching. They actually do give that as evidence. One more evidence, it's as funny as it sounds, is that Muhammad pinned the words of Allah on the Kaaba, and it was better than anything that people could ever write down, that people ever could compose. And this clearly proves that the Quran was miraculous. They will definitely give you the miracle of the Quran in general terms as the major evidence. And what that means is the literary miracle of the Quran, because it is so beautifully written. Nobody can write anything better than that.
Yeah, that's not subjective.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. The moon splitting definitely is one of them.
My child is the most beautiful child you've ever seen. Like, show me a child as beautiful as mine.
Make a better child. Make a
better child, and then I'll believe in your God. I mean, come on. Muslims, are you laughing? Come on.
What's funny is this is actually the major challenge of the Quran. The Quran says if they are truthful, then let them produce something that is better, or let them produce a chapter or a book that is better than this. That is the major challenge of the Quran.
The screenplay for Pulp Fiction, done.
And what's funny is since the challenge is not clearly defined, nobody can actually check whether something is indeed better or not. So they are free to always make new conditions and to say, well, what you have brought forth is definitely not better because this and this and that, you know.
Okay, I'm making your list here, and I'm not impressed. What about eyewitnesses?
The moon splitting. The moon was split in two in Muhammad's time. That is,
now we're
the
getting
greatest
somewhere.
What yeah.
What about prophecy?
But the issue is, Doug, the issue with the moon splitting is you have to understand that the moon was split in two, and according to the Quran, the people in his surroundings saw it and said, magic, magic, but nobody else in the world saw it, and that is probably because everyone was sleeping.
It was a cumulus cloud that just went like at an angle, and
it's because everyone was sleeping at that time, which is why nobody saw it in the world. And,
but the people who did see it, it was like just a cloud in front of the moon.
Yeah.
Okay, moon splitting. There's at least one or a couple prophecies, right?
There are prophecies which they will give you, such as that in the future people will die.
There'll be wars and rumors of wars. That sort of thing.
Yeah, people will become ignorant. People will. Time will pass very rapidly. Time will be very fast.
As you get older, that's true.
That's one big miracle of Muhammad.
Okay.
One other miracle is earthquakes will increase. Earthquakes will increase. Yeah.
Muhammad, Allah predicted global warming.
Yeah. Did I mention bad things will happen?
You mentioned that. Well, that will die, and
that's one of the prophecies of Muhammad. Bad things.
What about eyewitnesses? Like, is there anybody who witnessed Muhammad have these revelations in the cave?
No. But who are you to trust? Who are you to judge? To doubt Muhammad? So Muhammad was known as a trustworthy person. He was known as a trustworthy prophet. Who are you?
Yeah, there's trustworthy surgeons who believe in Scientology. I mean, come on. There's Mormons who are lawyers.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He was trustworthy. People always thought, oh, he's a good trader. We trust him. I would buy and sell things with him. And they even one day they were trying to put the black stone. This black stone is something that the pre-Islamic polytheists had a lot of respect to and a lot of worship for. And it came off, or they tried to renovate it or something, and somebody had to have the honor of putting it back onto the Kaaba. And they were fighting about it, like, who's supposed to do this? Who's going to do this? We can't fight about this. We have to make an agreement. Let us do this. The first person who walks through this gate will have the honor to put it back on. So they waited, and Muhammad walked through the gate. And they said, oh, the trustworthy one. So Muhammad came, and he was given the honor to put the black stone back onto the rock. And this is one more proof which shows that Muhammad was specifically honorable and trustworthy.
What you just said, who wrote that down?
Certain people wrote this.
What's their name?
A few centuries after Muhammad. Certain people wrote this down a few
Do we
centuries
know
after
that person's
Muhammad.
name or those people's names?
Well, we know those people's names because they took it from somebody else who heard it from somebody else who heard it from somebody else who heard it from somebody else, and that's
So
why we know that
hearsay.
it's true.
Hearsay written how many years later?
100 to 200 to 300 years later. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like strong evidence to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm being very facetious here, but come on.
I'm sorry, I didn't give you the biggest evidence, which
Oh,
is
okay, number 10.
Muhammad rode on the back of a flying mule or of a flying horse donkey to Jerusalem, and from Jerusalem he ascended to the sky.
Was there any eyewitnesses of that?
To go to heaven, and in heaven he met all the prophets, including Moses. He talked to Allah, and then he came back again. Did you say eyewitnesses? Sorry.
Yeah. Was there any eyewitnesses to that?
Well, the issue is, what you have to understand, the issue is that according to the reports, this all happened within seconds. Apparently, Muhammad was sleeping in his bed, and he was woken up, and his heart was washed. He was brought to heaven and came back, and then
Okay, but this is a dream then, right?
And he got up. It's not a dream; it really happened. But and Muhammad
who saw the horse besides Muhammad?
Nobody saw it, but you have to trust Muhammad in this. And Muhammad said when he came back, his bed was still warm. So it looks like he just
it's probably warm because it was wet. He peed himself.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But the issue is this: we're talking about Muhammad. You don't need eyewitnesses for Muhammad. You only need Muhammad as
why?
For his own actions.
Why do we not need eyewitnesses?
Because he's the trustworthy.
Wow. I mean, everyone should trust me because I'm trustworthy.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I got you. You did well. You gave me 10 in a short amount of time. So Muslims, I want you to listen to your evidence for Islam. A priest tells Muhammad he's a prophet. Sounds like Pentecostalism to me. He had some weird experiences in the cave, but there's no eyewitnesses of that. He was known as a trustworthy man, but we've got trustworthy surgeons and lawyers who believe in the weirdest things, like in Mormonism and Scientology. He had good penmanship, number 4. Number 5, the miracle of Quran, a literary miracle, which is maybe it's close to Pulp Fiction. Number 6, the moon split, but there's no eyewitnesses of this. Maybe there are, but most people were sleeping. Number 7, we got prophecies that people will die. Number 8, I just have no eyewitnesses as a piece of evidence. Number 9, we got hearsay of a lot of things in the Quran written 100 to 200 years later.
Oh, here's one that I want to give you additionally, since you don't have 10 or you don't.
And number 10, the flying donkey.
Okay, but here's one more. Stop scamming, men. Help me out with this one. He said, naked Bedouins will compete in building tall towers. And this is a prophecy of Muhammad. When people asked him, when will the last hour come? Muhammad said, the last hour will not come until you see naked Bedouins with sandals competing in building tall buildings. And
I bet I know where they got that from.
And do you know how we know that this prophecy has come true? Well, look at skyscrapers.
Dubai,
tall buildings. Dubai. Look at buildings in Chicago, New York, around the world.
See, there's an easy explanation, even from the Muslim 7th century point of view, and that is they've read the story of the Tower of Babel in the Old Testament, and they're just saying that will happen again.
That's what I thought, but again, what you're not understanding is that Muhammad was known as the trustworthy.
Okay, if that's the Muslim answer for everything, when you start questioning Muhammad, I got a neighbor 2 doors down. His name's Myron. He said he's the final prophet, not Muhammad, and I know this is true because he's trustworthy.
Well,
and the thing is, this is better evidence because you could come down to my place, so we can talk to all of the neighbors and friends and confirm that he's trustworthy. You can't do that with Muhammad.
Well, then tell him to bring something that is better than the Quran. Then I will believe him.
I already said the screenplay for Pulp Fiction.
Oh, one more challenge that the Quran has. I'm not bringing this up as another evidence, but one more challenge that the Quran has is actually very funny. This is one of the biggest challenges of the Quran. You know what the Quran says? The Quran is talking about the polytheists, who believe in these multiple gods and who believe in these other beings that are better than Allah, that are truer than Allah. And the Quran says, wait for it, if they are truthful and if what they believe in is true, then let them produce their proof. Let them bring their proof for their gods. They can't, because they are liars.
So is that an argument from we know everything else is false, so therefore we're right?
Well, the Quran clearly says if their gods are true, if their gods are indeed helping them, if they are real, then they should bring their proof for their gods, and they can't, which means they are false.
Oh no, there's a god, the god of Myron, and I got proof right here. A priest told Myron that he'd be a prophet. He experienced a revelation from the true God in a cave. Myron was known as a trustworthy person. He had good penmanship. The miracle of this stuff, he produced something like it. Oh, by the way, the moon split like 4 times under Myron as the prophet.
But can you show that his God is actually real? Can you show his God? Can you show his power? Can you show
right here? This is evidence that he's real and he's trustworthy. Did I mention that?
It's not enough. Not enough. Sorry.
Yeah, so this is where the outsider test for faith just totally is very useful. But when I'm in all seriousness, when I'm talking to a Muslim, and I've had a lot of great conversation with Muslims on my channel. There's one guy whose name is David, I think, and we've talked 3 or 4 times, and I don't act this way. Like I'm being, you both of us are being
You're nice, yeah.
Yeah, I'm nice, and I ask mostly questions. I use the Socratic method. And because I realize these are deeply held, cherished beliefs for people. And I think using questions that raise the cognitive dissonance in their beliefs, using the outsider test for faith and say, well, okay, you don't believe that for that reason. Why would you believe this for Islam? And just over time, I'm a big believer that over time, it wears people down. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. It's, as a lot of my Christian friends like to say, it's the cumulative case, but against the religion.
Well, I think what you would eventually get to is one major argument, which in order to refute that or even to compare it to something else, you would have to put a lot of time into it, which would be that nothing that the Quran said has ever been falsified. And everything that the Quran says, all the assertions that it makes about the world around us and about things in the future and the past are undoubtedly true. And the Quran is the only book which has this quality that nothing can be falsified and everything that it says can be true. So good luck with
any Muslim who says that. Any Muslim who says the Quran's never been falsified has not listened to a Christian who says the same thing about the Bible, the New Testament.
Well, the Bible has been corrupted and changed by Christians.
Right, but the point is, we have a human being who has a mouth, who utters the word. There's nothing in the New Testament that's been shown to be false.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're sincere and they truly believe it. Okay, now Muslim, look yourself in the mirror and say, you could be that person who just utters these words. The Quran's never been falsified, and sincerely believes it and is crazily wrong about it. I don't know how more forceful I can put that. I mean,
well, Christians only make claims. Muslims actually believe in the truth. So Christians only, yeah. So that's the answer to that. And if we run out of answers, I think the final answer, the final evidence, the final proof would be you just wait till you die, and then you will see. And
we both know only atheists go to heaven. I don't know why Muslims are taking this huge chance. I mean, there's so much at risk and at stake.
Yeah.
The God that actually exists doesn't need to be worshipped and actually condemns anyone who believes any religion of the world is true.
Yeah.
And who condemns anyone who doesn't question all the religions of the world. Muslims, Christians, why are you taking such a huge chance? Hell's at stake. Only atheists go to heaven.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is,
and what I just said has never been falsified.
But Doug, are you I don't think that there are any reports of you being known as the trustworthy, who was also a good trader that everyone could trust, that everyone could safely buy from and sell products to. So I don't think that you have many big chances here.
Even that, I don't believe. What was it, B.B. King who sang the song "Everyone Lies a Little"? I mean,
Really, I want to say something. It's seriously. I mean, this is indeed. I'm not joking. I mean, I have been acting very dumb here right now, but Muslims will actually insistingly say that Muhammad was even prior to the Islamic revelations, prior to his prophethood, he was known as reliable, and this is actually an argument for Islam. This is actually an argument that they bring, but. The issue is we have like 2 reports about that Muhammad was apparently called a reliable person. We cannot really trust these reports because in one of them, the person himself that we hear the story from reports that he himself told a king that Muhammad is a reliable person while he was telling on Muhammad, which sounds extremely unrealistic, especially if we went more into the details, it would sound very stupid. But even if we did trust those sources, and even if Muhammad was known as a reliable person before the time of his prophethood, it doesn't say anything at all about his major claims about Allah and his prophethood and his talking with an angel and his claims about the afterlife and the coming of the day of judgment. It doesn't say anything at all. Even I would even grant that maybe Muhammad was known as a trustworthy person. Maybe he was known as a reliable person. He was a quiet guy that people could trust with their money, that people could...
Wait a minute. Do Muslims believe Muhammad's sinless?
They believe that he's free from major sins, from big sins. Major sins, yeah.
Like, what would be a major sin in Islam besides denying Allah?
Like drinking alcohol, having premarital sex, or extramarital sex, things like believing in multiple gods, rejecting God, things like that. So they also believe, which is a very strange thing, they also believe that Muhammad was therefore necessarily never a polytheist, although he was born into a polytheistic environment, polytheistic culture, polytheistic tribe, polytheistic family. He himself was never a polytheist. He himself was always a believer in the one God, because Muhammad can, by definition, not commit any major sins in his life. That's very strange, but yeah, that's what they believe. I see it on your face, Doug. I know. I see.
It's after a while, it just gets disheartening. People will believe stuff from, what is it, 1400, 1600 years ago that
1400, yeah,
is based on a source wrote that Muhammad's trustworthy, so therefore Muhammad's trustworthy. Like, shame on you Muslims if you believe just based on that. And what does trustworthy mean? Like, in every single thing in life, or just in certain areas? Like, and to what extent? 100%, 99%, 98%? Like, someone can call someone else trustworthy and they still make mistakes and maybe tell a little fib, but like once or twice in their life. Like,
yeah. But I know that you are trustworthy, Doug. So if you tomorrow at any time declare that you are a prophet and that you are communicating with God and that God brings us a message, I will probably believe you, because why would I not? You are the trustworthy.
Well, that's an interesting question. If I came to you tomorrow and I said that I was sitting on the toilet, and that the experiment we ran with the water-soaked napkin.
Yeah.
And if I told you I was by myself on the toilet, but it did light on fire, that water-soaked Kleenex, would you believe me?
Well, you are trustworthy, so.
But would you believe me? Is that a yes?
I would believe. No, I wouldn't believe you.
No, you shouldn't. That's the right answer.
I would definitely not believe you. I would say, hey, I know this guy. This guy is a cool guy. He says good things, but I'm sorry, that's pretty insane. I don't believe him. Yeah. That's dumb. If it is true, if he wants to convince me with that, maybe.
What if Al Jazeera was there in the toilet with me and filmed it? Would you believe it then?
No, I still wouldn't believe it. I'm sorry.
BBC?
I said I actually call this my miracle of the descending leg, but if the
You need to be
miracle
my age, it's the miracle of the ascending leg.
if the miracle of the descending leg ever occurs, then I will probably reconsider my faith in the supernatural. And the miracle of the descending leg is that somebody who has no leg prays to God, or people pray for him, and suddenly we see a leg visibly coming down from the sky, descending from the sky, and attaching itself to this person who is missing his leg. And we have medical reports that this guy did indeed have a missing leg, and that this guy suddenly now has a leg which indeed did come descending from the sky. This is the miracle of the descending leg, and this miracle will leave little doubt in me.
Have you seen Deadpool 2, the movie?
No, I haven't.
Okay, but in that movie, Deadpool gets both legs cut off.
Uh-huh.
And then he grows new legs, but they're like little, like toddler legs, baby legs, toddler legs, and they grow like really fast. I think that'd be even cooler.
It's disgusting, yeah. Yeah. No, I would want to see it descending from the sky. I'm sorry. That's
pretty cool.
I have high standards. I mean, why do we have to have these vague things? Like a while ago, almost a year ago, there was this time where a lot of Muslims online were praying for my death because I said that I'm sick. I said that I'm currently sick, and I went to the doctor, to the emergency, and they couldn't explain what I have. And I had some very weird skin infection apparently going on. It was looking very strange, and the doctors couldn't really explain what's going on. They asked me to go home to take some medication to come back, and so on. And when I shared this, they were saying that Allah is cursing me, and they genuinely believe this. And many of them were actually praying that Allah curses me, that he punishes me, and that I die from inexplicable causes. And I thought, oh, hey, why does it have to be so obscure? Why does it have to be so hidden? Why does it have to be so ambiguous? Let's do this. I am currently sitting in a room, and if I show you my room, if I show you around with the camera, you will see that there are no windows in this room. This room is a room with no windows. I will here pray to God and pray to Allah and ask him to send a lightning through me to punish me and to kill me in a room with no windows. Can Allah do that, or can he not do that? It's not an unreasonable challenge. It should be an okay challenge.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, but I'm frozen, right?
Oh, you're frozen? Can people still hear you?
Yeah. Well, if you can hear me, they can hear me.
Yeah.
I've got a nice smile on there. You could just keep it.
Maybe try to do the stop cam and push it again down there.
Nope.
No.
What happens if I refresh?
You will probably have to come back in again. Try that, maybe. I don't know.
No, that didn't work out.
There you are with that smile again. That's funny.
Oh, well. Should we wrap it up anyhow?
Try to disconnect your camera and connect it back if it works.
No, I can tell it's my XSplit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
XSplit sucks. I hate XSplit.
You hate XSplit? What would you suggest?
Nothing. I'm just going with StreamYard for now, because streaming softwares are just so crappy. I don't know. I tried XSplit and it was horrible to me.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, funny. So this is you know what just happened, right, Doug?
A sign from God?
Yeah. You know what just happened? We were just talking about Allah giving us a sign.
It looks so ridiculous.
And you froze, looking ridiculous like this.
Well, not ridiculous, but it's like I'm saying, hey, what are you doing? What you doing?
Yeah. So this is what happened. This is I'm sorry, I'm getting very emotional right now, but I'm about to testify again that that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his final messenger.
You know what I was kind of hoping that you would do today is have a surprise guest beside me.
Oh.
You know who?
Who?
David Wood. I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
he might not agree to ever come on your show if there's this threat that I might be there too.
I don't know. Maybe we can do that. I will. Maybe.
Have you ever talked to him about me
I think I asked him once when we were live that I told him he should join you for a live stream sometime. I said that, and I don't know. He didn't respond to it. He just grinned and didn't respond. Maybe I can arrange a meeting with us together. I couldn't trick him though. I could only ask him nicely and get him on here because David is very important to me.
Yeah.
He's my employer. He pays.
He's your employer?
Yeah, he has me on a paycheck. He pays my insurance so that I keep criticizing Islam because he's a Christian who doesn't like Islam, and he pays me. He pays me so that I don't. He pays me so that I go easy on Christianity and criticize Islam. That's what we have. That's our agreement together. So yeah.
Because is his channel still down?
What channel?
His channel.
His channel.
Yeah, is he still demonetized and all that?
Yeah, he's still demonetized. It still doesn't work. By the way, I was just kidding everybody. Please don't take this seriously. What I just said about David Wood employing me, please don't take that seriously. That would be very, very, very dumb. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Doug, will he just be frozen on us like this?
I mean, I'm a ventriloquist and I can hold still. I'm really good at holding still. So I'm actually live right now. And I'm producing these sounds without moving my lips.
That's fantastic.
I know. I practice with a dummy all the time.
Yeah. We have more evidence that you are the real deal than we have for Muhammad being trustworthy right now. So
I look like I'm talking to a Muslim right now, saying, "Come on, really." Really?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We should do this again. We should have more live streams together. You should join me sometime. We should talk about different things. We should have certain some analysis of other things. When I get into discussions, debates with Muslims, we can talk about that together. You can have argumentations with them.
Would you ever come on with something up? Would you ever come on my show and when I have Muslim guests?
I would definitely. I would. Yeah.
Okay.
I would discuss with them too. Yeah, as long as there is no threat, as long as we can agree beforehand that they don't ask me difficult questions about Islam, I can, of course, always. No,
we have a prearranged set list of what you can ask.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. Let's do this again soon. I guess we will go offline here, and I will have you back again sometime, Doug. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you soon. I will probably see you tomorrow again in the live stream. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And I forgot the super chats. I'm very sorry. Wait. I will read the super chats. I will do that. Do you want to stick around, Doug, in case someone asks you questions? Or?
Sure. Yeah.
I completely forgot that.
Oh, you know what I could do?
I don't want to be rude here.
No, I can't do that.
What can you do?
I was trying to think of a way to get my mouth to move.
Could you technically just restart XSplit and do this again? Or
yeah,
something?
I'll try that. You start with the
Okay, I'll start with that stuff and you can come back. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's focus on me right now and my bottles. So everybody, this is fun. Let me just quickly get to the super chats. I want to answer the super chats and certain comments that we have here. This was a very unique discussion. I think this was like a live stream, like none other that I had before. Okay, super chats. Now, Hindu historian said, the idea that a religion needs human effort to defend and propagate itself to all people, yet promises eternal hell to those who don't believe in it, is ridiculous. God is not insecure. I would agree with that. Namar Naka said, per Islam, even Allah isn't free to do anything that Muhammad didn't approve of. Allah also expects to follow the Quran. TT said, are you back? Oh,
I'm back.
You're back. Awesome. There you are. Awesome.
I don't know why I didn't do that sooner.
Welcome back. No, it's fine. TT said, "Dear Muslims, do you enjoy reading the Quran?" That's a good question. Dear Muslims, do you enjoy reading the Quran? I actually made that. I actually asked that question in one of my videos where I said this is a very easy challenge. I simply challenge Muslims to really sit down and read through the Quran for a while, and to ask themselves if they enjoy reading this book, if they truly think this is a wonderful book that is so amazing. Or maybe they can even try to force themselves to say it. Maybe they can sit down for hours and think about that. Can they say to themselves, "Wow, this is an amazing book. I'm having so much fun reading this. This is so enjoyable. I've never read anything more beautiful than this." Can they do that? I really wonder.
And how many of them have it memorized? Like, don't some Muslims say that a lot of them memorize it?
It's not many Muslims have memorized. I mean, it's like, if you really want to ask the question, there are probably only less than 5% of Muslims have probably read it. They read the Quran in a language that they understand. It's very few Muslims who have actually memorized it. There are people who memorize it because it's supposed to give you extra points in heaven. But yeah,
A few more versions.
yeah, maybe a few more virgins and some extra refills of wine.
But that alone, seriously, virgins as a reward?
Yeah,
Is that
right?
serious?
It is. It is, but it's not.
That's not a reward. You want an experienced person.
You are not. Yeah.
Am I wrong?
But what you're misunderstanding is that these are not just virgins, Doug. These are very special virgins.
Super
that
virgins.
have super virgins that have big eyes. Big eyes. Big eyes. Big eyes. Very desirable breasts. Their skin is so good looking. Their skin is so bright and soft that you can almost see the bones through their skin. And they're so good, so obedient, so serving, that they only want to give themselves to you and to nobody and nothing else.
No, but
and they
I don't care about any of that
wine.
because I don't care about any of that if they're virgins, they got no experience. It's like, would you let a surgeon operate on you that's never done surgery before?
Well, the thing is,
for eternity?
Even if you take their virginity, they will become virgins again, probably. So that's the thing, Doug. I don't think you are understanding.
Allah wipes their memory of the skills that they've learned, and then they
probably not. But they will just be virgins again. You are not understanding the power of Allah. That's
seriously virgins as reward. Come on, what's wrong?
What you also get is that you will sit together with all the other believing Muslims, with all the other great people. You will sit together, reclined on big seats, while servants come and give you cups of wine, which does not intoxicate you. So it's not just virgins.
Sounds like Buffalo Wild Wings with their watered down beer. Oh, sorry. Should I have said that? Sorry, Buffalo Wild Wings. This is a joke. This show has been sponsored by.
Yeah. Name said, "You can't prove that Thor didn't slay all the ice giants. You have never seen ice giants." I didn't think so. Thor is greater than Allah or Yahweh. I completely agree with that as well. Good argument. Rebecca Barsef made a super chat and said, "Can we now have Judaism? Can we have how Judaism is different discussion too?" Oh, a discussion on how Judaism is different. We could, yeah. If somebody will join me for that, we could definitely do that. Yeah.
Some of my best friends are Jews.
Oh, really? Now we know why you don't like Islam.
Jeez. I actually have a lot of Jewish subscribers. You probably do too, right?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah. They're my main motivator. That's why I keep doing this. Search for Truth made a super chat and said, "Even infants are created for hell in Islam." Sahih Muslim 2662, books 446, Hadith 47. Riziko LP. Well, yeah, the Quran clearly says, the Quran clearly and openly says, I could even bring a thing for this, a Quran verse for this. I don't just want to be speaking here without any proof here.
So here's the question. While you're looking that up, if there's a Muslim with a child listening, would you be okay with Allah telling you, hey, my plans for your child is that they will spend eternity in hell. I've just chosen your child to do that.
Well, the thing is, Allah also gave them the chance to be guided to the truth by Allah, if Allah wants it for them.
But does Islam teach that Allah can just burn people if he wants?
Yeah, but and he will misguide you and burn you in hell if that's what he wants. But the thing is, Allah also has given you the chance to be sincere, so that Allah may guide you to the truth, so that He doesn't misguide you.
And that's clear to me. So Allah can misguide you and guide you at the same time. I get it. That's clear as much.
And Allah wants to give you the chance to be guided by Allah, so that you can believe in Islam, because nobody can believe in Islam unless Allah wants them to believe in Islam. And if Allah wanted you to believe in Islam, then you would believe in Islam.
But so let me guess, is he responsible or not for who goes to heaven and hell?
Well, it's your fault. So
okay.
Yeah. But you have to acknowledge, if you were sincere, Allah would guide you to the truth.
What comes first, the sincerity or Allah's guidance?
Don't question Allah's.
Don't ask those questions, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Here in this verse says, Quran chapter 7, verse 179. I hope I opened the correct one. And we have certainly created for hell many of the jinn and mankind. Jinn are those beings that come at night at specific times and take
the boogeyman,
steal your belongings when you don't look, and also kidnap your kids at night. That's what Muhammad said. Yeah. So if your bike is stolen one morning, it was probably the jinns that come at a specific time at night and steal bikes. So the Quran says in chapter 7, verse 179, and we have certainly created for hell many of the jinn and mankind. They have hearts with which they do not understand. They have eyes with which they do not see, and they have ears with which they do not hear. Those are like livestock, rather they are more astray. It is they who are the heedless. So
this verse is saying Allah creates people and dooms them to hell.
Yeah, because and you have hearts with which you don't understand, eyes with which you don't see, and ears with which you do not hear. And
yeah, but they were created that way. They were created for hell.
But you are heedless. That's why Allah created you that way.
Yeah, Allah created you terrible for hell, and that's where you will end up. That sounds like a very loving God. Muslims don't care about love, right?
But look at this. Whoever Allah guides, he is the guided, and whoever he sends astray, he's of the losers. So if Allah guides you, then you are rightly guided. And if he doesn't guide you, if he leads you astray, then you are a loser, because Allah created you for hell, because you have hearts and eyes and ears with which you do not understand, and you are like livestock. So what are you going to do?
But Allah's not responsible that he created certain people for hell. He's not responsible for that.
It's your own fault.
It's your own fault that Allah created you with no. Is there any chance that they won't go to hell if Allah says you're going to hell?
Well, if you ask for it, if you are sincere, then Allah may guide you.
But then this verse would be wrong, because he certainly created you for hell if you're a jinn.
Well, but
can a jinn turn from his ways?
He can. If he is very sincere, then Allah will guide him to heaven as well.
But they have hearts that don't understand. How would they ever be sincere? They have eyes which they do not see. How could they ever be sincere? They have ears that do not hear. How could they be sincere and follow Allah? They're doomed.
I don't think you are in any position to question Allah's
yes, I am. I am PineCreek. Say my name.
This is very strange. Like it's like I create a group of people. I create a group of 5 people, and I create them with different abilities, with different capabilities, different minds and hearts and ears and all that. And some of them I create capable of understanding what's going on and going to heaven. Others I create incapable of that, because they are dumb, they're sick and all that. And I want to burn them in hell because they're like less than animals, basically. And then I tell them, hey guys, I will hold my hands up now. If you can correctly tell me how many fingers I'm holding up, then I will not shoot you. I will grant you paradise. If you give me the wrong number, then I will shoot you and you will burn in hell. So I start, but the problem is some of them are blind and they can't see. and they have to just tell me how many fingers I'm holding up. And I created them blind. They can't see. But I asked them, hey, how many fingers am I holding up? And the blind one says 3. And I'm like, haha, wrong.
Remember
and
I said,
shoot and kill.
Remember I said to you last time we talked that in a lot of ways, Islam is like Calvinism in Christianity?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, this is giving me some Calvinistic vibes right now.
The issue is with Islam, it actually has a different, it goes differently. With Islam, it's not like, the story is not that humans have kind of fallen into sin and gone astray and done something to themselves, to their own nature. The story is that Allah intended all of it to be like this from the very beginning. Allah, before he created you, gathered humans in this place before time began, and he made with them an agreement and said to them, I will give you something that I have never given to anybody before, free will. If I gave it to the mountains, they would crumble of fear and they would reject it and say, hey, don't give me this. Even the mountains, they would be like, no, don't give me that, mountains. But humans have agreed and said, yes, we can take this responsibility. We can be weighed with this challenge, with truth and falsehood, and we will be good, and we will believe in you, and we will go to heaven. And Allah said, are you sure? Am I your God? And people said, yes, we are sure. Of course, you're our God. You created us. And he was like, are you sure? And the people said, yes, we are sure. And they was like, okay, here, have it. And then we were created, but we have forgotten that happened. We forgot that it happened. But if you look into your nature, deep inside, deep down, you will see and notice that there is indeed a certain deep memory instilled within you of that agreement that you have made with Allah, which tells you to believe in Islam. And when you reject that belief, when you reject this agreement that you yourself made, which is why you are responsible, then you will have betrayed Allah and you will deserve to burn in hell forever.
It's a fun story.
Yeah. That was a good reaction. Thank you. Yeah. So that's Islam for you. Okay. Risiko LAP said, kannst du mal ein Video mit Ex-Muslime klären aufmachen? That's German, and that said, can you also make a video with the channel Ex-Muslime klären auf, which is a German ex-Muslim channel? I can. We actually agreed very long time ago that we should make a live stream together, but we never did it. I don't know why.
If you do make a German channel, you have to start on time because the Germans are punctual.
I know. That's why I gave up making German videos, because I'm not good enough for that stuff. Stop Scamming Man said their favorite arguments seems to be that the Quran has always been exactly the same. Just ask Uthman, the variant Quran burner, or the secretary that defected when Muhammad agreed to reward a surah. Yeah, that's, by the way, one more miracle that Muslims will bring up. They will say that the Quran is the only book that has never been changed. It has been preserved from the very beginning, word for word.
Well, let me guess. If you find a book that has been changed that has the title Quran, they'll just say that's not the real Quran. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, they will say, yeah. So they say they say we have clear proof from the very beginning that this book was preserved word for word. It has never been changed. All other religious books have been changed, and we can trace back this book to its very origins. But the origins that we trace it back to are origins that were established after numerous people came together and collected their oral memory, their oral transmissions and their notes of the Quran. They all came together, dozens of them, and certain people collected those verses then and turned them into a book, which then went through different hands, and then they came together and decided which version of these books they should keep and which versions should burn, because they had different words and different marks, and they wanted to get rid of the confusion and wanted to unite it as a single book. And we can trace that apparently back. We really can't, but we can trust the narrations of that whole story. And that simply proves that the Quran has been preserved from the very beginning. And who are you to doubt that? I'm sorry. And there was all the super chats. There was one more here, right here. Go for Freedom made a super chat and said, would you mind explaining one hadith to us? What's the message from this at Bukhari 1285?
You want me to take this one?
1285. Oh, yeah. Do you want to? Sure.
Well, it's in English,
sure.
right? I can read.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, here I got it up.
Okay, this is that one.
What is this? Is about a funeral?
Yeah, it is. Certain people take this as a report, a narration. What the hell is going on with the screen here? That is very strange. Let me try this again.
It just talks about a funeral and sitting between two people.
Okay, so this is a certain hadith, a certain story about Muhammad, which says, we were in the funeral procession of one of the daughters of the Prophet, and he was sitting by the side of the grave. I saw his eyes shedding tears. He said, "Is there anyone among you who did not have sexual relations with his wife last night?" Abu Talha replied in the affirmative, and so the Prophet told him to get down in the grave, and so he got down in her grave. So some people ask, why in this hadith Muhammad is asking somebody who didn't have sex last night so that they can go down to the grave and arrange the body of this dead woman, of this dead girl. And people sometimes imply that this is about necrophilia or something like that. But I've never deeply looked into this specific narration, but I'm pretty sure that this is not what that is about. What this is actually about, I think, is that in order to process a funeral in Islam, you must have been washed in the proper way. You must have done your full body washing, and you must have also done the ablution, which you do before a prayer. And I don't know if there are any specifications about having sex that night, but I guess what Muhammad is asking for here in this specific narration is he's asking for a person who is pure by the proper standards and somebody who didn't just have sex last night.
Oh, that's why the virgins in heaven, because they're pure, right?
Yeah, of course they're pure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
sex in itself is actually defiling, but just this is a plot hole, I think, in Islam. Sex is bad because it makes you impure, but it's good and it's a reward.
Well, the thing is, if you,
isn't that a plot hole?
Yeah, it's not really. I don't know. It's the logic of that is very strange. But if certain things leave your body, then you have done something. Then you have become impure, and you have to wash yourself again. But sex is also it's a very strange thing to think about. To be very honest, I don't know. It is interesting. I don't know. It is interesting, Doug. What can I say? Okay. Yeah. All right. That's it. No more. Nothing more on screen.
The people who stayed after we pretended to leave. Remember, we were about to leave.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the people who stayed are the real AP followers.
Yeah, they are. They are real. They are real. By the way, what you pointed out, there are certain things such as that sex makes you impure. But the thing is, sex in a certain state, especially in heaven, is free from all kinds of impurities. And it's the same with alcohol, for example, with wine. You are not supposed to drink wine when you are in this world, on this planet, because wine is bad, it's disgusting, it's terrible, it's horrible, it's dirty, filthy. Stay away from it. But when you go to heaven, you will have wine which Allah gifts to you, and that wine is special because you know what? It doesn't make you drunk, it doesn't intoxicate you. So it doesn't do what alcohol does to you, and doesn't do the things to you, which is why people actually drink alcohol. So you drink alcohol that is not alcohol, that is not fun to drink, and that is different because everything is good in heaven. So
how about cigars, smoking?
You just have to understand that. Maybe you can do that too. I don't know. Maybe you can do lots of things in heaven that are not bad in heaven because it's in heaven, but you just have to go there.
But on earth, do Muslims smoke? I mean, is it okay?
There are different interpretations that it's not okay. According to some, there is nothing necessarily wrong with it, but the majority opinion is that it is harmful to you, which is why it is bad. It is wrong.
What about things like gluttony? Like if you're a fat Muslim?
It's not a pious thing to do. You should eat in moderation, but there's nothing wrong with stuffing yourself either, necessarily. It's not a sin. It's not a sin. But you know what you shouldn't do? Like, there are certain major sins in Islam, certain great sins, deadly sins, such as associating partners with Allah. I mean, idolatry and all that. And one of those things, which nobody should do unless you really want to be unforgivably sent to hell, is if there is a war, if the Muslims are fighting a war, you should not be a coward and run from the battlefield. Because if you run from the battlefield, then that is an unforgivable sin, and Allah will send you to hell forever. You should fight for Allah. You should stay there.
It sounds to me like Muhammad had a little bit of a Napoleon complex.
Yeah,
short in stature, maybe short in other areas.
Yeah. So Allah is not only against you if you're stupid. Allah is also against you if you are scared. You should be scared of hell, which is why you should believe in Allah. But you should also not be scared enough to leave the battlefield out of fear for your life, because then Allah will send you to hell forever. And that was today's message.
What's interesting is I actually think Islam appeals to men more because of that testosterone value you were just mentioning, and Christianity appeals to women more because it's more about Jesus' love and let the little children come to me.
Yeah. Christianity has more feminine aspects, whereas Islam has very, very masculine, extremely strangely masculine aspects. Not masculine, actually. They are very primitive, masculine from a 7th century desert that was constantly hot and didn't leave people much comfort.
Is the reverse true? Like in Christianity, men are more likely to leave Christianity than women, at least in the United States. I wonder if the reverse is true, that women are more likely to leave Islam than men?
I'm not sure if there is any... I don't think there's any possible data on that. But I would say that it's, again, that men are probably more likely to leave Islam than women, simply because men will be more more likely to analyze the whole thing and to think about it, and they will be more risky, and they will be daring. Because women in Muslim society are very much put into the background of society. They're supposed to be quiet and not show themselves, not engage very much in these things that are made for men, So
their last decision was to say, I do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Was your wife Muslim ever?
No.
So you got married after you got out?
Yeah, we got married a few years ago. My wife is actually a former Christian. She was Christian. She left Christianity. She became an atheist, and we met online because I was looking at, after I left Islam and after I stopped believing in God altogether, I was looking for communities online that were made of atheists and people who criticized religion.
Not
and
Tinder,
there
right?
I found her. No, there I found her, and that's how we met, actually. Yeah.
Okay. So what's good is your in-laws probably don't like the fact that she left Christianity, and your parents don't like the fact that you left Islam. The in-laws are not causing you troubles then. You could basicly, they're not.
No. They are, since they are Christians, they're quite peaceful about everything. I don't have problems with anything, but it's the problem comes mostly from my side. Yeah. From
your wife
of tolerance?
Does your wife fear your side?
She doesn't fear. No. I also don't fear my side either. I mean, I don't see any danger. I don't see anything.
You never fear that someone's gonna, you don't have the desire to have a working line German Shepherd like I do?
Well, I have the only thing that I, of course, take necessary precautions for and take necessary safety measures for is people in the public threatening me. And I am in contact with the law for that too. But from my own side, from my family, I don't fear anything at all.
How many times have you had to contact the law? Are you talking police or FBI?
FBI, yeah. FBI. I've had contact with them several times. They also keep in touch with me. They ask me to send them things sometimes. They asked me before. I met with them twice in person. They asked me before to send them lists of people who threaten me and things like that. So I do keep in touch with them. It's quite nice. It's good to know that the people in charge are actually protecting your right to do this. It's good.
I don't know if I should say this. Yeah, I think they caught him. I'll say it. I used to be neighbors with one of the top 10 most wanted list people.
What? Oh, really? What?
And the FBI contacted me, and I kind of worked for them for a while.
Really?
Yeah. And I lived in a kind of poor neighborhood, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Years ago. And one day I got in my car to go to the bank to make a deposit, and I was tailed.
Uh-huh.
And I make a left. It was an SUV, dark SUV, makes a left. I make a right. I start to get suspicious. So I start making a whole bunch of turns, circling, vehicle is following me. I start panicking. And then the flashers went on internally in the vehicle. Oh, yeah. And I thought, okay, at least it's not whatever. But anyhow, and then a U.S. Marshal approached me and said, "You live in this address?" "Yeah." "Do you know who your neighbor is?" "No." And so apparently it was a cartel member. And yeah. And what was interesting is I had stuff stolen from my garage or my carport many times over the years, but we had these new neighbors move in across the street. All theft stopped. I mean, it was like a Muslim country, right? You could leave the keys in your car and nobody would take it. Yeah. And I was wondering why, and yeah, that was why.
Yeah. Interesting. That's funny. Yeah. Okay, I gotta go.
Okay, me too.
Doug, it was awesome. Very nice. Let's come together again. Let's do more stuff together. It will be a lot of fun. It was a pleasure to me. Everybody, you can follow Doug PineCreek on his own YouTube channel. I have linked to it below in the description. I might share some excerpts of this as well, because it was so much fun. Thanks everybody for joining. Thank you so much, Doug, for coming again. And everybody, have a fantastic day and stay away from Islam.